Hello, and we're just a few weeks away from some important watch auctions here in Geneva, and the lots that make it big during these auctions are naturally special watches. But what is important to realize is that these watches were special when they were first bought by collectors, or at least by some watchmaking savvy people. So what does it take to become a collector, or how do you start? Well, we met a very special collector, proving that the love of watchmaking has no age, as André is a 17-year-old man that has started already some quite impressive collection. Okay, so I can already hear some of you saying, oh, well, yet another rich kid doesn't know what to do with his money. But it's exactly the opposite. He knows exactly what he's doing and buying because he's developed a rather impressive watchmaking culture. So let's go and meet André and find out more about his love of watchmaking. So André, you're a really young collector. How did you come into watchmaking?
So my name's André. I'm age 17 this year. I first started loving watches when I got my first Rolex Submariner. So I got it from my grandmother, and I started loving watches. So I went and researched more about Rolex. Started to learn more about the brands, Hublot AP. And then in 2014, I wanted to research about Richemille and what was a tourbillon. So I watched your first video where you showed us the difference between the RM38 and 55. And I started to fall in love with the art of tourbillon. So I researched more about it, and I found out about independent watches such as Urwerk, Cabestan, MB&F. And now I'm very passionate about only independent watches, maybe sometimes the big brands. But to me, I would love to be the youngest collector for my top 8 favorite independent watches.
So what is so special about independence?
I think it's because I formed a really good friendship, especially with Urwerk. It was my first watch, independent watch. I got the Urwerk 105M Dark Knight at age 16, and Martin and Felix recognized it, and they told me I was their youngest, and it struck something in me, and now I have a passion. I would love to be the youngest member for all of my favorite independent brands such as MB&F, Cabestan, especially Greber Force.
So that Greber Force, that is quite represent kind of the pinnacle for a watch collector, and you're already starting with them. What can you do next?
I will never finish my collection. Even if I have all the watches that I really desire, I think the fantastic thing about independent watches is they will always have more newer, brighter ideas, more variations. So I think until my final breath, I will have more than 100 watches maybe. Who will know?
Well, that's nice for some of those independents for sure. And when you talk about those watches with some friends of yours that are your age, do they understand your love of watches?
So most of my friends are already older than me, but friends that are my age, some of them do not even know what Audemars Piguet is. So showing them the independent brands, some of them say, it's not my style, or some of them are like, wow, I've never seen a watch this shape before. So I think my passion now is to really express, spread out the independent watches as much as possible to the youth community and to the watches community. Not only Rolex, Hublot, but Cabestan, Urwerk, MB&F, especially Greber Force and Carrier-Rotelinen.
Oh yeah, well, you have pretty good taste there. Coming back to more mainstream brands, so how do you see those brands today?
The big brands today, they're also doing very well. AP just released in SIHH their colorful chronograph. Hublot is releasing their new models, like the collaboration with Berluti. And Rolex, I heard, also released new variations of Daytona. It's amazing. Everyone's talking about it. Big brands, more and more well-known around the world. You can ask anyone about Rolex, they will know. Ask anyone about the new Daytona, every watch collector knows about them. Even my friends that you said who doesn't know watches, they knew about the new Daytona. So it's really amazing.
Yeah. And going back to the more crazy watches with high complication, what are the things that you're looking into a watch?
So now my next piece, actually, I'm going for a Cabestan, a one-of-one vertical winch tourbillon. It's amazing. I'm in love with Cabestan because the watchmaker, Eric, he was the creator of the gyro tourbillon. So right now, actually, I'm trying to learn as much as possible about the tourbillon. And maybe at the end of this year, I may own one. Who knows? But there are so many watches in the independent world. I just discovered MCT today. I just discovered HYT. I really love them all. Although I have a favorite top 8, I really would love to, I love to own them all instead of, just the 8. Yeah, it's really amazing. Different variations, different materials. I think I'll have a big cupboard from Bloomberg and Urwerk. 2 big cupboards for the full collection in the future. So I will look forward to it.
So, well, you see, watchmaking isn't only for 40, 50-year-old people. It appeals to everybody, and naturally that makes me very happy because it shows that watchmaking still has a strong future.